Hey team, welcome back. Today we're breaking down one of the biggest financial decisions people make. Should you rent or should you buy? Um, and we're not keeping this generic because of the area. It bounces from area to area. So the results, depending on where you live, could be drastically different. But we're diving in to real current market data for Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. And if you're aware, those three states, those areas are interlocked. And it's not uncommon for some people like myself to have lived in all three. It's a common issue. We look at the rent versus buy equation, which is different for everybody, and it changes for everybody. So your situation now versus 2 years ago may be different, and therefore your equation changes. Also going to talk to military, because there's a different computation for military families. There's the time, there's the expense and investment. Is it worth it? And what are your plans? What are your future plans? Are you about to retire? So that plays heavily, and trust me, I've been through all of that. So in the national context, before we zoom in, across the USA, it's often cheaper month to month to rent, but long term, buying is more an investment. And housing values very seldom slide drastically. They may take a slight downturn, but year over year, yes, they normally increase. Renting can be 37% cheaper, but when you compare typical mortgage payments and typical rents, remember renting, you don't accumulate any equity. So nationally, the typical mortgage payment sits around $2,703, while typical rent is $1,979. So there's a significant savings there. Like I said, it depends on your timeline and your current situation and your future plans. But that's the national picture. Now, the Mid-Atlantic region kind of tells a very different story depending on where you live. Let's see. The Pennsylvania market. So home prices and trends. Prices in Pennsylvania for homes are up like 6.3% year over year, and a median price of $307,000. But sales are up, inventory is slightly up, and days on market average is around 41 days. So rent versus buying PA, it's one of the more affordable areas in the region. With median home prices over 300,000, many buyers find that mortgage payments can be similar to rent, but especially on the outside the metropolitan areas. So you should consider buying in PA. First-time buyers, looking at affordability, investors seeking appreciation, military families stationed there like Harrisburg, Carlisle, Pittsburgh. You can use your VA benefits to build equity. So should I consider, or should you consider renting in PA? For short-term relocations, if that's part of your calculus, yeah, renting could be. Students or early career professionals, you don't want to put that investment in when you know your situation might be transitory and you might be in a situation for a short time, or you don't have the capital to invest because you're starting early in the career. So anybody staying unsure if you're staying about 3 years, renting in Pennsylvania might be the option. Now for New Jersey, New Jersey is a different world. Median home prices sit around $552,000, and some counties seeking 11% or higher annual growth. The rent versus buy in New Jersey. Average rent in New Jersey is about $2,500 a month, which means renters spend about $150,000 over 5 years, and you don't build any equity. So sort of like buying an invisible house. If that's, it depends on the situation. It could be a workout, but buying is expensive too. New Jersey's got high taxes and competitive bidding. So you might like a house, yeah, somebody else likes it too. So you're going to have to come hard or go home. But who should consider buying in New Jersey? High income earners, people that want top tier schools. They have a good reputation for outstanding schools. I graduated from there. Long-term residents plan to stay 5 to 10 years. That might be a good consideration for you. Military families in McGuire, Joint Base McGuire, Dix Lakehurst is what they call it. If you're going to be staying there 5 to 10 years, you leverage your VA benefits and your BAH to offset the high prices. But who should consider renting? Like anybody with a short PCS cycle, and like if you're in a low density, high demand career field in the military, I know a little bit about that. Yeah, you kind of gotta. There've been times when I know, hey, we're just hot pitting. We're going to, probably be moving in short order. So, yeah, renting at times has been best for us. And sometimes you get priced out of the market. So, you want flexibility to avoid the tax burden. So that's another part of your calculus if you're thinking about rent versus buy in New Jersey. Delaware market. Delaware, these 3 states are all different. You got to find the mix because you can find a sliding scale, taxes, schools, property growth. It all is a sliding scale. I'll say it that way. Home prices in Delaware are about up 7.6% year over year. The median price is $376,000, and inventory and the sales are rising. So for the rent versus buy in Delaware, a 2-bedroom rental in Delaware typically ranges from $1,000 to $1,500 a month for a rental. Meanwhile, buying a home often in the $250,000 to $300,000 range can result in mortgage payments similar to your rent, especially in Delaware. It's got low property taxes. Who should consider buying in Delaware? People with want affordability, but near to the metro areas. So Philadelphia is a hop, skip, and a jump, depending on where you are in Delaware. And buyers who are looking for different levels of suburban, metro, rural. Like I said, Delaware is definitely a sliding scale. Retirees, this is a retiree-friendly state. Military included. There's a lot of benefits for the military, disabled veterans. There's tax benefits that you could reap, whereas they exclude you from paying certain taxes. Military families stationed near Dover. So Dover's the big base here. And you want to maximize your BAH and your VA benefits like we talked before with New Jersey. That could help you build equity while you're still serving. Now, who should consider renting in New Jersey? Short-term assignments, so hey, in the military, if you just arrived at Dover and you just got promoted, let's talk it out with your career field managers and talk about how stressed is your career field. If you have a career field and they have 8 million people and the average time on station, which they do keep track of, I would talk to your career field managers. People testing out the area before relocating. If you want to just see, hey, Delaware, and then which part of Delaware? I want to test it out. I want to test the waters. That's probably a good rule of thumb, but it is something worthwhile to rent in that case. And renters who want low monthly payments without a long-term commitment, that might be one of your best options.